Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, overall, the United States generated more jobs last year than any time since 1999. Unemployment has fallen to 5.5% nationally, down more than a full percentage point from just 2 years ago. A rapidly improving picture for everyone except new graduates. That's because for young people in their 20s with a 4-year degree, the national unemployment rate is more than twice that of the general population. A problem that here in energy country is being felt by one group of graduates that usually can name their own price. Joining me now with more is our Courtney Maye.
Rob, here at Oklahoma State University, they often cannot graduate enough engineers for the jobs that are out there. But there's one group of recent graduates that may struggle in their search for work. With the prices of oil decreasing, the number of jobs available in the energy industry is as well, leaving some petroleum engineer graduates looking for jobs. Engineering student Jordan Morgan.
With the oil drop that we've had, the jobs for upstream have kind of vanished a little bit, and normally that wouldn't be that big a deal because when one industry lowers, there's demand that increases in another industry. But the issue is if you've been grooming yourself for the oil and natural gas industry and all of a sudden there's no jobs for what you've been grooming yourself for, you're kind of stuck in a pickle because you could have been out there going to a power industry or going to a manufacturing engineering position.
In 2014, oil prices in Oklahoma peaked at $101 per barrel. And now we are seeing the lowest oil prices since 2005, affecting Oklahoma's economy and causing industry layoffs of more than 3,000 jobs.
From a petroleum engineering standpoint, the reduction in the price of oils had a tremendous impact. The reality is, in our state, you can't produce oil at $40 a barrel, so there's a cutback on all the drilling and exploration activity. And until the price of oil comes back up, that activity is going to be dormant.
And with 20% of jobs in the state tied to the oil and gas industry, Oklahoma is one of 3 states facing the biggest impact, with drilling stopped.
Exploration and production companies aren't going to drill more wells because you're spending millions of dollars to drill a well, and oil's the price per barrel has just dropped so drastically, so they're just going to stop drilling and let that price go back up a little bit to make it cost effective to drill.
Meanwhile, many petroleum engineers who are left without a job attend graduate school or minor in another engineering field, broadening their skills and expanding their job opportunities.
In 10 years from now, what I know is things will be totally different than they are now. But we will have trained students that they will be able to move into these new areas because they do understand how nature works, they understand basics, fundamentals, and they haven't been trained just for one industry. And that's critical for us as a society to have people that do have this broad-based training that can solve problems that we don't know what even is on the horizon, but we'll be prepared to do it.
While recent graduates may need to widen their search beyond the energy industry. All right.
So Courtney, this sounds to me, as they would say, like deja vu all over again. Because when I graduated in the 1980s during the last big oil bust, I had a handful of friends who graduated with petroleum engineering degrees that never ever worked in the industry.
And that's the fear of most oil and gas companies. We've talked to several energy executives, and they've said that a donut hole was created in their industry in the 1980s, when many people were leaving the energy industry for other work. And now that the baby boomers are retiring, there's a need for experienced workers.
So Court, I'm curious about the young man that you talked with. What's he going to be doing?
Well, it's said that you make your own luck, and Jordan is graduating with a mechanical engineering major and then a minor in petroleum engineering. He also did an internship with Chesapeake Energy and worked at a rig over the summer. And from that experience and also his good grades, he was able to accept a job opportunity his junior year in college, and he will start that this summer.
All right. Thank you so much, Courtney.
You're welcome, Rob.
Well, while the energy industry is still hiring in certain areas, it's also shedding some jobs at a dramatic rate. Earlier, I visited with Chad Wilkerson, the head of the Oklahoma City branch of the Federal Reserve Bank. Talk to me a little bit about the spring survey that was done by the Fed and what you found.
Yeah, we do a survey of energy firms in our district, our 7-state district, heavily concentrated in Oklahoma because that's the biggest oil and gas state in our region. And we found from then that obviously oil and gas activity fell sharply in the first quarter. We found out from them they plan to cut employment this year fairly significantly, on average about 12% across firms, and that varied by type of firm. Oilfield services firms plan to cut close to 20% of jobs this year. Exploration production companies is more like 5%, but both of those numbers are fairly sizable cuts. But an encouraging thing that we found in that survey was that firms have indeed been becoming a bit more efficient, or at least lower cost than they were. We asked them what their current break-even price is, what price they need for oil. And as of late March, when we did that survey, the average across firms was $62, with a range of 40 to 75. So it depended on which plays they were in, how active they were in different areas. But that's down considerably from what they responded last September, which was $79. So their cost, or their break-even price, has come down about 20% just over the past 6 months. And the silver lining there is that means oil prices may not need to rise back as much as we thought they might need to 6 months ago.
Now, this break-even price, is that reflective of new technology? Is it reflective of maybe they've lowered their expenses with some of the layoffs that we've been seeing?
Yeah, there's really three main reasons. The biggest reason would be they've lowered their costs, primarily the cost that they're charged by services companies for their services. Those have come down. And services companies have reduced those costs in part via layoffs. So that has been part of the reduction in the short run. But other factors have been enhanced use of technology. You know, when prices were extremely high, firms didn't need to focus quite as much on becoming efficient. They always do, but it wasn't as high a priority as when oil prices are as low as they were earlier this year, is one factor. And then another factor is that many of the rigs that have been laid down so far have been on the more fringe areas of plays that have higher break-even prices in the first place. So the remaining rigs are more concentrated in the sweet spots and have lower break-even levels.
Now, next week, we will take a closer look at the impact a constricting energy industry could have on Oklahoma's larger economy. But first, a student contest that is far from child's play.